Celebrating U.S. Holidays by Charlotte Taylor. Special days. Holidays are special times for our country. National holidays are a time for all Americans to celebrate. Some holidays celebrate special people. Other holidays help us remember important events. We start off every January with a holiday. Happy New Year! The Man with a Dream. On the third Monday in January, we honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He told people that he had a dream. He wanted people of all colors to be treated the same. Dr. King was an important leader. He fought for a better life for Black Americans. America's leaders. President's Day is on the third Monday in February. At first, this holiday only celebrated George Washington's birthday. Washington was the first American president. Today, it's a day to celebrate all of our presidents. We remember how they have helped our country. We remember. Memorial Day is the last Monday in May. It's a day that we remember the soldiers who fought and died for our country. On Memorial Day, people fly American flags and go to parades. Some visit the graves of soldiers. A free country. The 4th of July is also known as Independence Day. We celebrate the day our country was born in 1776. People go to parades and have parties. They play music about America. At night, there are fireworks all around the country. Our nation's workers. Labor Day is the first Monday in September. It's a day to celebrate American workers. Years ago, workers weren't treated well. They got together and demanded to be treated better. On Labor Day, we honor Americans' hard work. Coming to a new land. Columbus Day is the second Monday in October. Christopher Columbus was an explorer from Italy. He tried to sail from Spain to Asia. Instead, Columbus landed in North America in 1492. He thought he had landed in Asia. Honor a veteran. On Veterans Day, we honor the people who fight for our country. Every year on November 11th, we remember the soldiers who have died. We thank the veterans who are still living and those who are serving in the armed forces. They make sure that all Americans are safe and free. Give thanks. Thanksgiving is on the fourth Thursday in November. It's a time to give thanks for the special people and good things in our lives. Many people have a big turkey dinner on Thanksgiving. They give thanks for tasty food. Chemical Changes by Rebecca Kraft Rector. What is matter? Matter is everything around you. All things are made of matter. Tiny bits of matter are called atoms. Atoms join together to make molecules. Common forms of matter. Matter has different forms. Matter can be solid. A book is a solid. Matter can be liquid. Milk is a liquid. Matter can be a gas. Oxygen is a gas. Properties of matter. Properties tell about matter. Physical properties tell how it acts, looks, and feels. Is it big or small? Hard or soft? Chemical properties let matter change. An example is being able to rust. Changes in matter. Matter can change. Changes can happen naturally. People can also make matter change. Matter can change in two ways. Physical change is one way. Chemical change is the other. Physical changes. Matter can make a physical change. A plate breaks. It looks different. The pieces are smaller. They are different shapes, but they are still made of the same material. Chemical changes. Matter can make a chemical change. Dough bakes. It changes into bread. The atoms are joined in a different way. A new material is formed. Making a chemical change. Mixing can make chemical changes. Cement powder and water mix. They make a new material. It is concrete. Heating can make chemical changes. Burning wood makes a new material. It is ash. Light, color, bubbles. Chemical changes are not always easy to see. There are clues. Watch for light. Watch for heat. Watch for a new color. Watch for a smell. Watch for bubbles. Chemical changes are everywhere. Leaves change color. Wood burns. Cars rust. Bananas rot. Flowers die. These are all chemical changes. New materials have formed. The materials cannot change back. Activity. Change for a penny. Make your penny change color. Procedure. Step 1. Place the folded paper towel in the dish. Step 2. Put the penny on the paper towel. Step 3. Pour vinegar over the penny and soak the towel. Step 4. Leave it for a day or more. The penny turns green. It's a chemical change. There is copper in the penny. There is oxygen in the air. Together they form a new material. It is called copper oxide. Why do my teeth fall out? Isabella Willebrandt. My tooth fell out. As you grow older, your body goes through many changes. Your teeth are no different. Your baby teeth grow in when you are very little. As you get older, the baby teeth fall out. Ever wonder why? Let's find out. Chompers. Our front teeth are called incisors. We use them to cut our food into smaller pieces. Next to the incisors are the canines. They're pointy and help cut food too. In the back of our mouth, the molars grind food. Outside and inside. The part of a tooth you can see is the crown. It's covered with a very hard tissue called enamel. Enamel keeps our teeth healthy. The part of a tooth stuck in your gum and jaw is the root. The root isn't covered with enamel. Most of a tooth is made up of a tissue called dentin. It's hard, but not as hard as enamel. Inside the dentin is the pulp. This soft part holds nerves and blood vessels. When you feel pain in a tooth, it's the pulp that hurts. Baby teeth. Our baby teeth come in when we're between 6 months and 2.5 years old. These teeth are also called primary teeth. Most kids have 20 baby teeth. They're smaller than adult teeth. They also wear down faster than adult teeth. In time, a baby tooth becomes loose. This is because the tooth's root breaks down. The root is what held the tooth in place. Now you can wiggle the tooth. In time, the tooth will be so loose it will just fall out. Adult teeth. Baby teeth often start to fall out around age 5 or 6. They do this because our adult teeth, or permanent teeth, push them out of the way. This may continue until you're about 13 years old. Fake teeth. Adult teeth are called permanent because they're supposed to last the rest of our lives. However, teeth sometimes get knocked out. A dentist can sometimes put a lost tooth back in. Brush, brush, brush. Enamel is the hardest tissue in the human body. However, it can break down over time. Some foods and drinks, such as those that contain sugar, cause teeth to decay. You can avoid tooth decay by brushing your teeth after every meal. What happens when I hiccup? Daisy Allen. How annoying. A hiccup is a short breath of air. The breath ends suddenly, which causes the hic sound we make when hiccuping. Hiccups usually last for just a few minutes. Sometimes they can last a lot longer. When we breathe, air passes in through the nose or mouth. The air passes a flap called the epiglottis, down through a tube called the trachea, and into the lungs. When we hiccup, the epiglottis closes quickly, causing the hic sound. Breathing in. The diaphragm is a large muscle below the lungs. It helps us breathe. The diaphragm moves down when we breathe in. It moves up when we breathe out. The diaphragm is what causes us to breathe in very quickly when we hiccup. Like the rest of the body, the diaphragm has nerves in it. Some things can bother the diaphragm's nerves. The result is a spasm, or a sudden, uncontrolled movement. This causes us to breathe in quickly during a hiccup. I'm so full! Perhaps the most common cause of hiccups is eating or drinking too much. A full stomach pushes on the diaphragm. This can bother the nerves of the diaphragm and cause it to have spasms. Spicy food is known to cause hiccups too. Hot and cold. A quick change in temperature inside the stomach can cause hiccups. For example, this can happen when someone drinks a cup of hot chocolate and then drinks a cold glass of water right after. How you feel. Sometimes our feelings can cause hiccups too. This can happen when you're feeling stress, such as when you're studying for an important test. A sudden shock, such as a loud noise, can cause hiccups. Excitement can cause hiccups too. Boo! There's no sure way to stop hiccups, but some things may work. Some people hold their breath or breathe into a paper bag. Some people eat a spoonful of sugar or honey. Other people think a sudden noise scares the hiccups away. I can't stop! Bad cases of hiccups can last hours, days, or even weeks. The longest case of hiccups lasted 68 years. Long-lasting hiccups are usually a sign of some other illness. If your hiccups last longer than 2 days, you should see a doctor. What makes fire burn? Walter LaPlante. Make a wish. Have you ever watched someone light birthday candles? They might use matches or a lighter. Then fire seems to come from nowhere. The process of creating fire and burning is called combustion. Get ready to learn how it works. Matter basics. From bones to flowers, all matter is made up of atoms. Atoms are bonded or tied to each other in different ways to form all kinds of matter. The power of 3. In order for something to catch fire, 3 things are needed. One is easy to find because it's in the air around us: oxygen. Oxygen is the gas people must breathe to live. It also helps a fire burn. Fire needs heat to happen. Heat can come from the friction of a match being struck against a matchbox. It may come from a super hot lightning strike or from the heat created by something that's already burning. The final piece needed to make fire is fuel. Fuel is what's consumed or taken in by burning. Wood or coal are often burned, but fuel for a fire can be anything, including cloth, grass, or rubber. Some fuels need a higher heat than others to burn. It's on fire. Once matter, or fire's fuel, is hot enough, the bonds between its atoms break apart. The atoms then bond to oxygen in the air to make water and gases. It looks like the matter is breaking down. Flames. Have you ever looked closely at the flame on a birthday candle? It's rounded on the bottom and pointed on the top. Earth's gravity gives it this shape. Flames look blue on the bottom, giving fire. Combustion is a big part of our lives. A burning fire can keep us warm and give us light. Combustion is even part of how light bulbs work. We need it to make electricity at power plants too. Harmful fire. Once something catches fire, it can't be unburned. Matter is forever changed by combustion, and it may cause great harm. That's important to keep in mind when you're around fire. Be careful not to burn yourself or things around you. Celebrating Earth Day by Barbara M. Lind. Big problems. Imagine bodies of water full of poison. Picture parks and other places full of trash. Think about dirty, smoky air. In 1970, our environment was in trouble. Many people and businesses didn't take good care of it. A senator helps. Senator Gaylord Nelson knew about these problems. He wanted to help. He talked to other government leaders. He talked to business owners and citizens. Some people didn't listen, but others wanted to work with him. He planned the first Earth Day. The first Earth Day. The first Earth Day celebration was on April 22, 1970. All over the United States, people got together. They talked about cleaning up the land, air, and water. They asked the leaders to make new laws to help the environment. What happened next? Soon, laws about the environment were passed. People and businesses followed the new laws. The water, land, and air got cleaner. By 1990, other countries started Earth Day celebrations. Now, more than 190 countries celebrate Earth Day. Earth Day actions. Good things happen every Earth Day. Leaders talk about stopping pollution. People listen and take action. They plant new trees and take trash out of the water. They clean up parks and streets. Communities plan to ride bikes instead of driving cars. A green day. Each Earth Day has a theme or main idea. One year it was Clean Earth, Green Earth. Leaders asked people to think about keeping the environment clean. That helps plants and trees grow better. Earth needs strong plants and trees to keep it healthy. Goodbye, plastic. We often only use plastic straws and cups once. Then we throw them away. They float on the water or pile up on land. One year, Earth Day leaders asked people to stop using them. Many people agreed and stopped. You can go green. You can celebrate the ideas of Earth Day every day. Reduce what you use. Turn off lights, computers, and TVs. Use less water to take a bath or to brush your teeth. Walk or bike to nearby places. Reuse bottles and boxes. Take cloth bags when you shop. Give away old toys, books, and clothes instead of throwing them away. Use both sides of a piece of paper. Recycle cans, paper, and glass. You don't have to wait until the next Earth Day to ask your friends and family to join you too. Clothing around the world. Charles Murphy. Get dressed. It's time to get dressed. What will you put on? It probably depends on the occasion. You might wear something different depending on whether you're going to the park or a party. In other countries, people may dress in clothes different from yours. In Asia, in South Korea, a woman's hanbok is an outfit with a jacket and skirt. A man's hanbok has a jacket and pants. Both are sometimes worn with a long coat over it. Today, Koreans wear hanbok on special days such as weddings and a first birthday. In Japan, people sometimes wear a kimono at home or on special days. A kimono is like a robe with wide sleeves. Men's kimonos are usually a dark color and sometimes worn with a kind of skirt-like pants. Both men and women may wear a sash. In India, Women may wear a sari. A sari is a long piece of cloth wrapped around the body. It can be wrapped in many ways. Some men wear a long coat called a sherwani over loose pants. In Mexico, some women wear a loose garment like a shirt or dress called a huipil. Men may wear a cape called a surapi. You may have seen the special Mexican hat called the sombrero. In Africa, in West Africa, many men wear a colorful garment called a dashiki over pants. West African women may wear a wrapper with a shirt and headscarf. These fashions are popular in the United States, too. In the Middle East, men and women may wear a long garment called a thawb or thobe. It's loose and helps keep people cool in the hot weather. Women may wear a headscarf called a hijab. In Europe, the Sami are native peoples of northern Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia. Their traditional clothing includes gakti. Women's gakti is like a long dress with a cape, while men's is shorter. It was once made of reindeer leather. The kilt is a knee-length skirt worn in Scotland. The kilt was even worn into battle. Men may also wear a piece of cloth over their shoulder called a plaid. Some Scots wear kilts every day. What special clothing do you wear? Celebrations around the world. Charles Murphy. It's party time. Do you love parties? Your family, school, and community probably have many special celebrations. They might celebrate Halloween, Christmas, the 4th of July, and birthdays. Many cultures around the world celebrate special times in special ways, too. Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is called Dia de los Muertos in Spanish. It's mostly celebrated in Mexico and other parts of Latin America to honor loved ones who have died. It's a special day of food and gifts. Festima. West Africans come together each February for Festima. This festival in the country of Burkina Faso celebrates African masks. Masks made of leaves, straw, wood, or other matter have been used in Africa for thousands of years to honor ancestors and spirits. Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year lasts 15 days. During that time, people visit family. They dress in red colors and watch fireworks. There may be a parade with a long dragon, a symbol of good luck. Carnival. Carnival is a spring festival around the world. In Switzerland, people ring bells to celebrate the end of winter. In Italy, people wear costumes. The most famous carnival may be in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It has music, parades, and dancing. Loi Krathong. Loi Krathong is celebrated throughout Thailand in Southeast Asia. Thousands of people free paper lanterns into the sky. Others float lanterns of candles and flowers down rivers. They ask for good luck. La Tomatina. The town of Bunol in Spain holds a festival called La Tomatina. Thousands of people throw tomatoes at each other. No one is sure how the festival began. Now, about 20,000 people each August join this giant food fight. Holi. Holi is a spring festival celebrated in India in February or March. Sometimes it's called the Festival of Colors. People celebrate for religious reasons and to welcome spring. They throw colored water or powder as part of the fun. Oban. Oban is a festival celebrated in Japan in July or August. It's a time to honor ancestors. People light lanterns and float them in water. They also perform a special dance called the Bon Odori. Which festival would you like to celebrate? Food around the world. Charles Murphy. Let's eat. What foods make your mouth water? Pizza? Your grandmother's macaroni and cheese? People around the world have foods they love too. Some of those foods have a special meaning in their culture. Read on to find a new favorite cuisine. In China. China has many cultures and cuisines. Rice and vegetables are common ingredients. Chinese who live inland often use hot peppers in their cooking. Peking duck is a famous dish from northern China. In the city of Beijing, people sell fried scorpions. In South Africa. African cuisine uses many vegetables. In South Africa, dried meat called biltong is sometimes made from ostrich or wild boar. Bobo tea is the national dish of South Africa. It's a pie made with meat, spices, sugar, milk, eggs, and fruit. In Mexico. Mexican food often uses corn, beans, squash, and rice. Tacos, tamales, and burritos are found in many places. Flautas are deep-fried sugary treats made from flatbread. Some in southern Mexico eat chapulines, which are fried grasshoppers. In Greece, the foods of Greece often include vegetables, fruits, olives, olive oil, cheese, bread, and seafood. A famous Greek baked dish is called moussaka. It has eggplant, lamb, onions, tomatoes, cheese, and spices. Melopita, or honey pie, is a popular Greek dessert. In Egypt. In Egypt, fava beans and spices are mashed into balls and fried. This is called falafel. Egyptians then make falafel sandwiches. Another favorite dish is koshari. It contains lentils, macaroni, rice, tomatoes, onions, spices, and chickpeas. In Brazil. Brazil is known for its steakhouses. However, the Brazilian national dish is feijoada, a stew of meats and beans served with rice and vegetables. On the coast, Brazilians use shrimp they catch to make a stew called vatapá. In Australia. In Australia, native people called Aborigines have always eaten the meat of kangaroos and turtles. Meat pies are another popular dish. Vegemite is a dark brown, salty paste made from yeast products left over from making beer. It's often spread on bread. In Hawaii. Hawaii is known for poi, a bluish paste made of taro root. Poke is a raw fish salad. Like other cultures, Hawaiians make tasty foods from the plants and animals around them. Which of these foods would you like to try? 1,000-Year-Old Sponges by Joni Kelly. Are sponges animals? You may not think of sponges as animals. They don't have arms, eyes, mouths, or many other parts most animals have. For years, people even thought they were plants. But just like other animals, they eat, try to stay safe, and need oxygen. Earth's first animal. Sponges are the oldest animals on Earth. Sponge fossils that are 600 million to 650 million years old have been found. Their body hasn't changed much since then. It seems that sponges have always had a soft body covered in a hard layer with many holes. Fossils show that sponges have always lived in every ocean, in both warm and cold water. They still do today. One reason they've been around so long is because they reproduce in several ways. Some sponges can even grow from a piece of broken sponge. A day in the life. There are around 5,000 kinds of sponge, with bodies of all sorts of shapes, colors, and textures. Most sponges are 0.4 inch to 120 inches, 1 to 305 centimeters tall. They all live the same way, though. Sponges spend every minute sucking in, filtering, and pushing out water. A long, long life. There are many guesses about how long sponges live. The ways used to tell how old something is don't work on sponges. Some could live for 1,000 years. A sponge in the East China Sea may even be 11,000 years old. Another sponge near Antarctica may be even older. It's hard to guess the age of Antarctic sea life. The cold and ice make these waters hard to explore. Plus, many things grow larger near the poles than in the rest of the world. In 2015, a sponge the size of a minivan was found off the coast of Hawaii. It grew in an ecosystem people take special care of, which might be how it was able to get so big. It was 11.5 feet, 3.5 meters long. Save the sponges! Most of Earth is deep under the ocean, and it's never been explored. The old sponges and sponge fossils in this book have all been discovered in the past few years because of new tools. Finally, we can see what's in the deep sea. Though there's a lot we don't know, we do know sponges are great for their ecosystem. Many animals live safely inside sponges, plus sponges keep the water clean. Because they grow slowly, sponges need clean oceans to be the world's longest living animals. Wheels and Axles, Daisy Allen. Bikes, cars, and more. Wheels are simple machines that turn to do work. Wheels spin around a rod called an axle. Your bike has 2 wheels, and each turns around an axle. Cars have 4 wheels and 2 axles. What else uses wheels and axles? Moving forward. Wheels and axles change spinning motion into forward motion. The bigger a wheel is, the farther it can go in a single turn. Some trucks have very big wheels. This makes it easier to move heavy loads. Fun with wheels. Wheels and axles make traveling easier and more fun. Bikes aren't the only things that use wheels to get around. A skateboard has 2 axles, and each axle has 2 wheels. Roller skates have 4 wheels too. Wheels at work. Wheels and axles make moving things easier. Instead of pushing a heavy box along the ground, you can use a wagon to move it. Instead of carrying heavy bricks, you can move them in a wheelbarrow. Easy to turn. Some wheels and axles make it easier to turn things. The bigger the wheel, the easier it is to turn the axle. However, bigger wheels have farther to go to get work done. Some wheels have handles that make them easier to turn. A doorknob is a wheel. It's fixed to an axle that opens the door when it turns. It would be hard to open a door if you had to turn just the axle. The knob gives you something to grab and turn. What is a pulley? A pulley is a simple machine that uses a wheel and axle. The wheel has a groove around the outer edge. This groove can hold a rope. When you pull down on one end of the rope, the other end goes up. What are gears? Many machines use special wheels called gears. Gears have teeth that fit together. When one gear turns, it turns other gears. The gears all stay put because they're on axles. Many clocks use gears. So do cars. Singapore Flyer. The biggest wheel and axle in the world is a Ferris wheel. The Singapore Flyer has a diameter of 492 feet, 150 meters. It takes about 30 minutes for the wheel to go all the way around once. A pod of dolphins. Matthew Fenner. Sea mammals. Dolphins aren't fish. They're sea mammals. Dolphins are some of the smartest and friendliest wild animals on Earth. They travel in groups called pods. A single pod can have just 2 dolphins, but many have up to 40. There are 33 species of dolphins. Most people have seen bottlenose dolphins. They're very smart and can do tricks. They star in shows at zoos and aquariums. Just like other kinds of dolphins, wild bottlenose dolphins live in pods. Oceans and rivers. Dolphins live in warm water around the world. Most don't like cold water. Many dolphins, such as bottlenose dolphins, live in Earth's oceans. 4 kinds of dolphins live in rivers. Botto dolphins live in rivers in South America. Dolphin friends. Dolphins form close friendships. Males live together in small pods. They join larger pods during the mating season. Female dolphins and their young often live together with other females. The members of a pod work together to find food and stay safe. Superpods. Sometimes pods come together to form very large pods or superpods. These pods can have hundreds of dolphins. Some cover several miles of ocean. Superpods sometimes include several different species. They also allow old friends to say hi. Dolphin sounds. Dolphins use sounds to communicate. Every dolphin makes a special sound so members of the pod can tell each other apart. A baby dolphin called a calf quickly learns the sound its mother makes. Dolphins make sounds that echo or bounce off objects and come back to them. This tells them how far away something is. It allows them to hunt for fish in cloudy water or when it's dark. Body language. Dolphins also communicate by moving and touching each other. They flap their tails or twist in the water. They also rub their heads and bodies against each other. Dolphins can share a lot of thoughts and feelings this way. Meet the killer whale. Have you ever heard of a killer whale? These sea mammals aren't whales. They're dolphins. They're the largest dolphins, and they live in oceans all over the world. Killer whales may have a scary name, but most are friendly. Fun facts about killer whales. Killer whales are also called orcas. Many killer whales live in very cold waters around Alaska and off the coast of Antarctica. Killer whales can live up to 80 years in the wild. An adult killer whale is almost as long as a school bus. A float of crocodiles. Carly Gambino. Floating with crocodiles. Crocodiles, or crocs, are reptiles. They live in rivers, lakes, and swamps in warm places around the world. A group of crocs is called a float when it's in the water. It's called a basque when the crocs are on land. Happy together. Crocodiles like to be with other crocodiles. A float may have mothers, fathers, and young crocs. It may include other crocs too. In large floats, crocs can often be seen resting next to and even on top of each other. A lot of crocs. The number of crocodiles in a float depends on how much food is around. The more food there is, the bigger the float. A float can have as few as 2 crocodiles or as many as 100. Meat eaters. Crocodiles eat meat. They hide in water and wait for animals to come near. Quickly, they jump forward and grab the animals with their strong jaws. The crocs in a float may work together to catch and eat dinner. Digging in. Crocodiles live where it gets very hot. They stay cool by lying in water. When the weather is cooler, they dig burrows to lay in. The crocs in a float sometimes work together to dig large burrows. Who's in charge? The largest and oldest crocs in a float are in charge. They get to eat first while the others wait their turn. The largest crocs also get the best places to sun themselves and the best burrows. Croc talk. The crocodiles in a float communicate with each other. They move in special ways and they touch each other. They also use lots of sounds to communicate. Crocs hiss, grunt, cough, growl, and roar. Baby crocs. Mother crocodiles lay eggs on land. The babies squeak just before breaking out of their eggs. The mother takes care of her babies. She carries them to water in her mouth. Fathers may help care for young crocs too. Crocs of the world. Did you know there are 14 kinds of crocodiles in the world? The smallest are dwarf crocodiles. The biggest are saltwater crocodiles. They can grow to be 20 feet, 6 meters long. All crocs like living together in floats. Fun facts about crocodiles. Crocodiles have been on Earth since the time of the dinosaurs. Crocs can live up to 70 years in the wild. Mother crocodiles can lay up to 90 eggs at one time. Crocodiles are great swimmers, but they can also run on land. A kangaroo mob. Joanna Burke. Life in the mob. Kangaroos are furry animals that live mostly in Australia. They have big ears. They have large back feet, and they're very good hoppers. Kangaroos live in groups called mobs. There can be more than 50 kangaroos in a mob. Kinds of kangaroos. There are many kinds of kangaroos. Red kangaroos are the largest kind. They can be as tall as an adult person. Gray kangaroos are the most common kind. Tree kangaroos live in trees. All kinds live in mobs. Mob members. Male kangaroos are called boomers. A mob has one male leader. Sometimes other males live in a mob too. Females are called flyers. They care for young kangaroos. Young kangaroos are called joeys. Joeys love to play. Roo range. Kangaroos eat at night and rest during the day. They eat grass and leaves. Kangaroos drink water whenever they can find it. A mob will travel far away from their home range to find food, but they often come back. Safety in the mob. Mobs keep kangaroos safe. Some kangaroos watch for enemies, such as dingoes, while the others eat or sleep. When an enemy is near, a kangaroo stomps its feet. This warns the rest of the mob of danger. Talking with kangaroos. The kangaroos in a mob communicate in many ways. They grunt, cough, and hiss. They growl when they're mad. Mothers make a clicking sound to call their joeys. Kangaroos also groom new mob members to learn about them. Growing up. Female kangaroos have pouches. This is where newborn joeys live. As a joey gets bigger, it climbs in and out of the pouch. A mother often has a joey in her pouch and an older joey by her side. Adult kangaroos. Female kangaroos often stay with their mothers even after they have their own joeys. When boomers grow up, they might leave the mob to join a new one, or they might start a mob of their own. Boxing boomers. Kangaroos love living in a mob. They get along most of the time. When boomers get angry, they box. They kick each other with their feet. Joeys and flyers box too, but they're just having fun. Fun facts about kangaroos. Kangaroos can't walk backwards, but they're very good swimmers. Depending on the kind, kangaroos can live between 7 and 18 years. The smallest kangaroo is the musky rat kangaroo. It's only about 8 inches, 20 centimeters tall. Red kangaroos can cover 15 feet, 4.6 meters with one hop. How do cuts and bruises heal? Gary Frick. Ouch! Cuts and bruises happen to everyone. You may cut your hand while riding your bike. You may bump into a table in a dark room and bruise your knee. Luckily for you, your body knows how to heal cuts and bruises. Safe inside your skin. Our skin is very important. It keeps germs out of our bodies and keeps our insides safe. However, sometimes our skin can be injured or hurt. Something sharp can cut skin. A fall or hit can bruise skin. It's in my blood. What's the first thing you notice after getting cut? Blood. Blood carries cells that heal cuts. Platelets are cells that stick together. They gather at a cut and form a clot. This stops more blood from leaking out of you. Clots harden and form scabs. Scabs keep germs out of the body. Once the skin is done healing, the scab falls off by itself. Never pick at a scab. The cut can bleed again and a scar may form. Blood also carries white blood cells. When you get a cut, white blood cells rush to the wound. They find and kill germs that try to get into your body. This helps you stay healthy. Caring for cuts. If you get a cut, press a clean cloth against it to stop the bleeding. Keep the cut clean and covered to avoid germs. A doctor may need to give you stitches if the cut is deep or long, or if it won't stop bleeding. What's a bruise? A bruise is a dark spot that appears after an injury. A blow to the body can cause blood vessels to break. This allows blood to collect under the skin, forming a bruise. A bruise may hurt when you touch it. Black and blue. Bruises change color as they heal. At first, a bruise looks red from the blood. However, bruises quickly turn dark blue or purple. After a while, the bruise will fade. Then it may look green, yellow, or brown. Caring for bruises. Bruises don't usually need care. Putting ice on them right after an injury will help keep swelling down. You should see a doctor if you have a bruise that is hard, gets bigger, or doesn't go away after a few weeks. Earth's water. Desmond Hume. The blue planet. Earth is sometimes called the blue planet. That's because it has so much water. The water makes Earth look blue. Earth's oceans hold the most water. Some water is in lakes and rivers. Some water is in ponds and puddles. Some water goes into the earth when it rains. We call this groundwater. Many people dig wells to reach groundwater. Some water is in the air. We call this water vapor. The sun heats water on Earth. This causes some of it to turn into water vapor. The water cycle. The water on Earth doesn't stay in one place. It moves from the Earth to the sky. Then it moves back to the Earth. Earth's water does this over and over. It has been doing this for a long time. This is called Earth's water cycle. Water vapor. The sun heats up the water on Earth. This turns the water into water vapor. Water vapor is like the steam you see when you boil water. Water from plants also turns into water vapor. The water vapor rises into the sky, clouds. Water vapor in the sky cools. This turns it back into tiny drops of water. The tiny drops of water form clouds. The tiny water drops cling to dust in the clouds. The tiny drops come together to form larger drops. The clouds become bigger and darker. Rain. The water drops in clouds become heavy. Soon the water falls back to earth. This is what happens when it rains. Rain is an important part of the water cycle. It fills Earth's lakes and rivers. Rain fills Earth's oceans too. Groundwater. Some rain seeps into the earth and becomes groundwater. Plants use this water to grow. People use groundwater for drinking and washing. Sometimes the ground can't hold any more water. Then the water runs downhill. This water forms rivers and streams. It's snowing. Snow is frozen rain. It falls from clouds when it's cold outside. The snow piles up on the ground. Snow melts when it gets warmer. The melted snow flows into rivers and streams. Some melted snow seeps into the earth, too. A look at the water cycle. 1. The sun heats Earth's water. 2. Water turns into water vapor. It rises into the sky. 3. Water vapor cools and forms clouds. 4. Rain falls from clouds. 5. Rain fills Earth's lakes and oceans. 6. Rivers form when the ground can't hold any more water. The water cycle is important to all life on Earth. The water on Earth has been here for many years. It will be here for a long time to come.
Rivers, Streams, and Estuaries by Greg Rosa. Rivers and streams. When rain falls, some of it soaks into the ground. The water flows downhill until it forms a small stream. More water joins the stream and it grows larger. Streams join to form rivers. The beginning of a river is called the source. The end is called the mouth. Rivers flow into lakes and oceans. What is water cycle? When Earth's water is heated by the sun, water vapor rises into the sky. Water vapor cools, forming tiny droplets. These droplets form clouds. Some droplets join and fall to Earth as rain. Streams and rivers then carry rainwater back into oceans, seas, and lakes. This is the water cycle. How rivers and streams shape the land. The flowing water of streams and rivers wears away at the land. The water picks up sediment and carries it downstream. This process is known as erosion. Erosion can make a stream or river bigger over time. A delta is an area of land formed over many years from sediment that is left behind by a river. What is an estuary? An estuary is a body of water where a river meets a sea or ocean. Rivers are made of fresh water. Oceans are filled with salt water. Estuaries are partly sheltered from ocean waves, so they allow fresh water and salt water to mix slowly. Depending on where it is, an estuary may also be called a bay, a harbor, a lagoon, or a sound. Rivers, streams, and people. Streams and rivers have played an important role in the development of civilizations all over the world. Streams and rivers have supplied people with water for drinking, bathing, and farming. People have also relied on rivers such as the Nile River in Africa and the Amazon River in South America as important means of transportation. Taking care of our rivers and streams. Some flowing rivers and streams can be harmful to people, animals, and plants. Chemicals from factories are often dumped into streams and rivers. Sometimes people throw garbage into streams and rivers. We need to keep our streams, rivers, and estuaries clean. This will keep the water cycle clean and provide clean drinking water for many years to come.
Weather by Therese Shea. What is weather? Weather is a day-to-day event in a local area. Rainfall, temperature, and wind are some things that make up the weather. We use words like rainy, sunny, snowy, hot, cold, and windy to describe weather. Weather is the result of the atmosphere, the heating and cooling of Earth's surface, and the water cycle, all acting together. The atmosphere and the heating and cooling of Earth's surface. The atmosphere is a layer of air that surrounds Earth. The sun heats Earth's surface, which then heats the atmosphere. In the summer, the sun produces higher temperatures. In the winter, the sun shines for less time during the day, producing lower temperatures. During the winter, Earth's atmosphere and surface cool. The water cycle. Water is another part of weather. The sun and warmer temperatures cause water in oceans and lakes to evaporate. Water rises as water vapor and cools to form clouds. The vapor falls to Earth again in the form of rain, snow, hail, or sleet. Then the water will evaporate again. These events that happen over and over again are called the water cycle. Air pressure and wind. Air pressure is the weight of the atmosphere pressing down on Earth. Warm temperatures cause low pressure. Low pressure can bring clouds and storms. Cool temperatures cause high pressure. High pressure usually brings clear, sunny skies. When a body of high pressure air meets a body of low pressure air, the weather changes and wind is created. Extreme weather. Extreme weather describes conditions that are not usual and can often be dangerous. Some places in the world have more extreme weather events than other places. For instance, land far from a water supply may not get rain for many days. This would harm the plants there and limit the amount of drinking water. People need to plan for extreme weather. Climate. The pattern of weather in an area over a long period of time is called climate. There are different climates found all over Earth. Some places have hot climates, such as deserts. Other places have very cold climates, such as the North Pole. Climates can change, but the change happens very, very slowly over time. Why do seasons change? By Ryan Stark. Our Changing Seasons. We have 4 seasons on Earth. They are spring, summer, fall, and winter. Some parts of the world have all the seasons, while others stay warm or cold all year long. Do you know what makes the seasons change? Seasons change because Earth's axis is tilted. The tilt makes one part of Earth point toward the sun, while the other part points away from it. This causes some parts of Earth to have less sun and warmth than others. Earth's orbit. For part of the year, the top half of Earth tips toward the sun, while the bottom half points away. This changes as Earth moves through its orbit. Orbiting makes Earth face the sun from different positions. It takes 1 year for Earth to finish its orbit. The changing position of Earth around the sun gives us 4 seasons. Each season has something that makes it special. If you pay attention, you can see and feel the seasons change. Spring. When our part of Earth starts to tilt toward the sun, it becomes spring. Spring is pretty because all the plants start to grow. We also start to have more sun. The weather gets nicer every day. Summer. After spring comes summer. When summer comes, our part of Earth is fully tilted toward the sun. Summer can be hot. The days get longer and the sun stays out all day. It's fun to play outside in summer. Fall. As Earth moves through its orbit, summer ends. Our part of Earth starts to tilt away from the sun. It changes to fall. The days get shorter, and we can feel it get cooler. The leaves on the trees turn red, orange, and yellow. Winter. Next comes winter. when our part of Earth tilts away from the sun. We have less sun in the winter than in other seasons. Days are cold and short, and nights are long. Some places get snow. Snow is very cold. Can you guess what happens when winter ends? Spring comes again. After 1 year, Earth made one whole orbit around the sun. We had spring, summer, fall, and winter. What season do you like the best?
Life in the Tropical Rainforest by William K. Gibbons. What is a tropical rainforest? Tropical rainforest biomes are located near the equator, where temperatures are very warm. These rainforests have a dry season and a wet season. They get about 100 inches of rain a year. There are rainforests in many different parts of the world. The Amazon rainforest in South America is the world's largest rainforest. Layers of the rainforest. The first layer of the rainforest is the emergent layer. It is made up of the tops of the tallest trees. The canopy is the next layer. 90% of the living things of the rainforest live in the canopy. The third layer, the understory, gets little sunlight. The forest floor gets the least amount of light, and very few plants grow here. Adapting to life in the rainforest. Living things in the rainforest have adaptations for the great amount of rainfall. Some plants have waxy leaves or drip tips for water to run off. The living things also have adaptations for the amount of light at each layer of the forest. To get more light, orchids grow on the branches and leaves of trees. Plants and animals. There are thousands of plants and animals living in the tropical rainforest. Most of the animals are insects, such as beetles and leafcutter ants. Sloths, macaws, and monkeys are some animals that live in the trees. Over 2,000 types of vines grow in the forest. Elephants and deer live on the forest floor. People of the rainforest. People living in the tropical rainforest have adapted in many ways. People of the rainforest move often. They create small farms by cutting down trees. Because the soil of the rainforest is weak, crops grow for only a few years. Then the people must move again. The people of the rainforest also hunt animals for food. They use plants for medicine. The tropical rainforest today. Today, the tropical rainforest is in danger. People who do not live in the forest are destroying the trees there. They chop down many trees to make room for houses and businesses. This clearing destroys the homes of plants and animals. It also makes farming and hunting difficult for the people who live in the rainforest.
The Rock Cycle at Work by George Pendergast. The Rocky Road. The study of Earth's rocks and their history is called geology. Rocks are always changing. How rocks change is shaped by forces acting on them. Some rocks change very slowly, over millions of years. Others change very quickly. Rocks go through changes to make different kinds of rocks. These events happen over and over. This is called the rock cycle. Heat, pressure, and water change rocks. The three different kinds of rocks are called igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. Lava rocks. Most rocks start as igneous rocks. They're formed when hot liquid inside Earth, called magma, cools. Sometimes igneous rock forms deep inside Earth. Sometimes it forms from magma that has reached Earth's surface as lava. Igneous rocks can be smooth like glass. Some also have big crystals in them. Over time, different forces change rocks on the surface. Wind and rain can wear them down. This is called weathering. When rocks are broken down and the pieces move somewhere else, it's called erosion. These tiny bits of rock and other matter, called sediment, collect and start to pile up. This is how sedimentary rock begins to form. Piling up. Sedimentary rocks are made when smaller bits of rock and matter are pressed together over a long time. As more and more matter piles up, the pressure cements the matter together. The sedimentary rock shale is clay that has hardened and turned into rock, changing again. Metamorphic rocks have been changed by heat and pressure inside Earth. Igneous and sedimentary rocks get pushed under the surface and heated. They are changed to become metamorphic rock when they're heated to between 572 and 1,292 degrees Fahrenheit, 300 and 700 degrees Celsius. Some metamorphic rock has lines or bands in it from the pressure. The metamorphic rock slate is made of shale that is squeezed and changed by heat from inside Earth. Marble is limestone that has been heated for a long time. Different paths. Rocks don't always follow the same path in the rock cycle. Rocks on the surface are worn to sediment and can become sedimentary rocks. Igneous and sedimentary rocks can become metamorphic rocks. All rocks can be melted down to magma and made into igneous rock. Erosion by Ellen Ripley. What is erosion? Erosion is the breaking up and movement of Earth's land. Landslides are one example of erosion. A landslide happens when part of a slope breaks away and gravity pulls the loose earth down the slope. Several forces can cause erosion. Over many years, wind and water can cause erosion. Ice and gravity can also cause erosion. Sometimes the things people do cause erosion where it doesn't commonly happen. Water erosion. Did you know that water can erode land? This process often takes many years. Ocean waves crash onto shores again and again. Over time, the waves break the ground into rocks. The rocks are slowly broken down into tiny bits of sand. Flowing rivers dig into the earth and make riverbeds wider and deeper. This action fills the rivers with tiny pieces of earth called silt. The silt builds up at ends of rivers, often making new land. Ice erosion. Water sometimes fills tiny breaks in rocks. When it gets cold, the water freezes and forms ice. The ice causes the breaks to grow larger. After this happens many times, the ice can snap rocks apart. A glacier is a large body of slow-moving ice. It grows larger as more snow falls on it. After many years, a glacier may begin to slide down a mountain slope or across land. This erodes the land beneath the glacier. Wind erosion. Wind can also erode land. Wind picks up very tiny pieces of rocks and sand and blows them against larger rocks. Over time, this process wears away rocks and mountains. It makes them smoother or gives them interesting shapes. Wind erosion can be a big problem for farmers in hot, dry places. When there is nothing to block the wind, it can blow away much of the soil on a farm. Then crops have trouble growing. Erosion caused by people. Trees help keep erosion from happening in forests. Tree roots hold soil in place and help keep it tight and firm. The branches and leaves slow the fall of rain and keep it from eroding the soil. Logging can cause problems in forests. Removing trees can lead to erosion. Even the logging roads add to the problem. They speed up erosion. People have to be careful not to cause erosion where it doesn't commonly happen.
The Great Lakes by Greg Rosa. The Great Lakes. The Great Lakes are a group of lakes in North America. They are on the border between the United States and the Canadian province of Ontario. They make up the largest group of freshwater lakes in the world. Most of the water in the Great Lakes drains into the St. Lawrence River, which leads to the Atlantic Ocean. Lake Superior. The largest of the Great Lakes is Lake Superior. The name Superior comes from the French word for upper. Lake Superior is the largest freshwater lake in the world by surface area. It's the third largest in the world by volume. Most of the water in Lake Superior is brought by the rivers coming from northern sources. Most of Lake Superior's water flows through St. Mary's River into Lake Huron. Lake Huron. Lake Huron is the second largest Great Lake by surface area and the third largest by volume. Most water leaves Lake Huron by way of St. Clair River. It then flows through Lake St. Clair and the Detroit River before entering Lake Erie. The Straits of Mackinac tie Lake Huron and Lake Michigan together. Many scientists think of Lake Huron and Lake Michigan as two halves of one lake. Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan is the third largest Great Lake by surface area and the second largest by volume. The Chicago River flows out of Lake Michigan and through the city of Chicago, Illinois. It once flowed into the lake. In the early 1900s, the Chicago government came up with a plan to change the direction that the river flowed. This stopped pollution from homes and factories from entering the lake. Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Lake Erie is the smallest Great Lake by volume. Lake Ontario has a smaller surface area than Lake Erie, but it's much deeper. That gives it more volume. Water from Lake Erie drains into Lake Ontario through the Niagara River. This river has one of the largest waterfalls in the world, Niagara Falls. Water going over the falls drops about 170 feet, 52 meters. Because of this drop, Lake Ontario is the lowest of all the Great Lakes. It's just 243 feet, 74 meters above sea level. Plants Around the World by Timothy McGowan. How plants live. Plants grow in different places around the world. These different places are called biomes. A biome is a community of plants and animals in nature. Plants need water to stay alive. They get water from the ground. They also need sunlight. They use sunlight to make food. In the forest. One place where plants live is a forest. There are many forests in the United States. The weather in a forest changes with every season. Many kinds of trees grow in a forest. They have green leaves in the spring and summer. They use their leaves to get sunlight. In the fall, the colors of the leaves change. They turn orange, yellow, and red. This means the trees are getting ready for winter. When winter comes, the trees in the forest don't have any leaves. The leaves don't grow back until spring. Prairies and savannas. Plants also grow in places called grasslands. There are grasslands all over the world. You can find many different grasses in these places. In the United States, grasslands are called prairies. A prairie looks like a big sea of grass. Farmers grow wheat there. We use wheat to make bread. Grasslands in Africa are called savannas. Tall grasses grow there. One kind is called elephant grass. It has pointy leaves. A few trees grow in savannas. They have long roots to get water deep in the ground. They store the water in their trunks. Mountain plants. Plants also grow on mountains. There are mountains all over the world. Mountains are very high. Some mountains always have snow on top. It's hard for many plants to grow on mountains. That's because the weather can be very cold. It can also be very windy. The ground is sandy or rocky. Near the bottom of a mountain, you can see pine trees. They're tall and green. Pine trees have pointy leaves. As you go higher up the mountain, you can see shorter plants. Colorful flowers grow there. Moss grows on mountains too. Life in the desert. Plants even grow in the dry desert. Deserts are very hot places. A cactus is a desert plant. It has sharp thorns. Beach plants and water plants. Some plants live close to the ocean. They grow on the beach. Sea oats grow in the sandy ground. They're very tall grasses. Plants can live in water too. A water lily floats on top of the water. It has green leaves and a beautiful flower. Your favorite plant. Earth is home to many kinds of plants. What is your favorite kind of plant? Where does it live? Inside Earth Rocks and Minerals by Anna Grigorovna. Learning about Earth. Earth is made of many different things. Most of Earth is made of rock. We see rocks everywhere. Rocks can be big or little. Many rocks are very old. They've been on Earth since it was young. Minerals. Every rock is different. All rocks are made of minerals. Minerals come from Earth, too. We can't make them ourselves. Minerals aren't living things. They're a part of nature. We can find minerals all over Earth. We use them in many ways. Every mineral is different. A few minerals are very hard. Hard minerals can make marks on other hard things like glass. Some minerals have beautiful colors. Minerals can be blue or yellow. Some are purple, others are green. Finding a mineral is easy when it has a cool color. Different minerals have different weights. Sometimes you pick up a mineral and it's heavy. Other minerals are very light. This helps you know what kind of mineral it is. Minerals can be shiny. If a mineral is shiny, that means it's a metal. You can tell this by holding it up to the light. We need some minerals to stay healthy. One mineral we need is iron. It helps our blood work right. We get iron by eating vegetables. We also need calcium. Calcium makes our bones and teeth strong. Drinking milk gives us lots of calcium. Did you know that you even use a mineral at school? It's in your pencils. This mineral helps you write. Types of rocks. Rocks are made of minerals. The minerals make every rock different. There are 3 types of rocks on Earth. One type of rocks is made of little pieces of sand and clay mixed together. When they get hard, a rock forms. This takes a very long time. Another type of rock comes from lava. Lava is hot liquid rock inside Earth. Lava cools and turns hard when it comes above the ground. It becomes a rock. The last type of rock is made when Earth changes rocks that are already here. Earth presses rocks together under the ground. This changes what the rock is like. Fossils. The best part about rocks and minerals is finding fossils. Fossils are remains of animals or plants that lived long ago. We can find fossils all over the world. Sometimes they're in caves. Other times they're underwater. Have you ever seen a fossil? Learning about Earth is fun. Rocks and minerals help us learn about where we live. What do you know about Earth? Water on Earth by Claire Feeblecorn. The Water World. We live on Earth. Earth has land and water. Earth has more water than land. It has so much water it's called the blue planet. Most of Earth's water is in the oceans. Some of Earth's water is in lakes and rivers. A tiny bit of Earth's water is frozen. Some of Earth's water is in the air. Water in the air is called water vapor. Water vapor is like the steam you see when you boil water. Some water is in the ground. Water in the earth is called groundwater. People dig wells to reach the groundwater. Some of Earth's water is in plants and animals. Plants and animals need water to live. People need water too. The water cycle. Earth's water moves from place to place. It does this over and over. This is called Earth's water cycle. Water falls from the sky when it rains. Rain fills oceans and lakes. It also makes puddles. Snow falls from the sky when it's cold outside. In spring, the snow melts. Melted snow becomes water in lakes and rivers. Some seeps into the ground. Some of Earth's snow doesn't melt. This snow has been frozen for a long time. Water that falls from the sky seeps into the ground. Plants use groundwater to live. People use groundwater too, flowing together. Sometimes the ground can't hold any more water. The extra water runs downhill and forms streams. This is called water runoff. Streams keep flowing downhill. They get bigger as more water is added to them. Streams flow together to make rivers. Rivers flow together and get bigger too. Big rivers empty into lakes and oceans. Water vapor. The sun warms lakes and rivers. This makes the water turn to water vapor. The water vapor rises into the sky. Some water vapor comes from plants and animals. Water vapor cools high in the sky. It turns back into water. Tiny water drops form on pieces of dust in the sky. Back to the clouds. The tiny drops come together to make bigger drops. The water drops make clouds. Soon rain falls, and the water cycle starts over. 1. Rain falls from clouds. 2. Rain fills Earth's oceans and lakes. 3. Rain seeps into the ground. 4. Rivers form. 5. The sun heats water on Earth. 6. Water turns into water vapor and rises into the sky. 7. Water vapor cools. This forms clouds. On and on. Earth's water cycle goes on and on. It has been working for a long time. It will keep working for a long time.
Earth's Many Landforms by J.P. Haskell. What is a landform? Earth's surface is always changing. It's covered with many different kinds of land. These are called landforms. Some landforms are made when pieces of Earth's crust move. The crust is the top part of Earth. It's made of pieces that are always moving very slowly. Mountains. Mountains are made when pieces of crust push against each other. A mountain is a very high piece of land. A mountain rises up much higher than the land around it. The highest part of a mountain is called its peak. Some peaks are so high they have snow on them all the time. A group of mountains is called a range. There are mountain ranges all over the world. A famous range in the United States is the Rocky Mountains. Valleys and canyons. A valley is a landform that you can see between mountains. The land in a valley is low. Rivers run through valleys. A canyon is a deep valley between two cliffs. Rivers run through canyons. There are canyons on land and also under the sea. The Grand Canyon is a famous canyon in the United States. It's in Arizona. It's very deep. You can see the Colorado River running through it. Moving ice. Another kind of landform is a glacier. Glaciers are huge pieces of ice. These icy landforms move very slowly. A moving glacier can cut into Earth's surface. This forms a very special kind of valley. Flat landforms. Some landforms are very flat. A plateau is a high piece of land that's like a mountain. Its top is much flatter than a mountain's pointed peak. Plains are flat landforms too. They're different from plateaus because they're low pieces of land. Plains are huge pieces of land with few trees. There are plains all over the world. The Great Plains are in the United States. They're covered in grasses. Many animals live on the Great Plains. The land on the Great Plains is good for farming. Wheat grows on these plains. People use this wheat to make bread. Volcanoes. A volcano is another kind of landform. It's shaped like a cone and has a hole at the top. Volcanoes can be very tall. Melted rock sometimes comes out of volcanoes. It comes from beneath Earth's crust. The melted rock is very hot. It forms new land when it cools. Some volcanoes are under the sea. They make islands. An island is a piece of land with water all around it. An adventure. It's fun to look for different landforms. Looking for them is an adventure. What landforms can you see where you live?
Alligator or Crocodile by Rob Rindack. Hiding below. The river looks calm, but what's that poking out of the water? Are those the eyes of an alligator, or is a crocodile ready to jump out and bite its dinner? Though they look very much alike, there are big differences between alligators and crocodiles. Alligators and crocodiles share many features. They're both reptiles that have sharp teeth and spend lots of time in the water. Alligators and crocodiles, as well as animals called caimans, belong to a group of animals called crocodilia. U or V? Alligators and crocodiles have different shaped heads. This means alligators and crocodiles each have a different bite. An alligator has a short, wide, U-shaped snout. This gives gators a strong bite used to crush turtle shells and other animals it eats. A crocodile has a narrower snout than an alligator. The teeth on each side of its mouth are closer together, which creates a longer V-shaped head. Crocodiles eat all kinds of animals, and their jaws help them snag their meals. Gator and croc teeth are different too. Alligators have a wide upper jaw that hides most of their lower teeth. Crocodiles commonly show more teeth, especially their bottom teeth. The fourth tooth on the bottom part of a crocodile's jaw can be seen when its mouth is closed. Salty crocs. Crocodiles can be found all over the world, most often in salt water. They have special body parts on their tongue called glands that help them get rid of salt in their body. This lets them live in salt water longer than other members of the Crocodilia group. Alligators only live in China and the southeastern part of the United States. They usually live in freshwater swamps, lakes, and rivers. Alligators also have glands to help get rid of salt, but scientists think they don't work as well as the glands in crocodiles. Special sensors. Crocs and alligators have small sensors and pits on their body. These small dots help them sense pressure changes in water and find prey. Crocodiles have these spots all over their body, but alligators only have them around their jaws. Be careful. Whether it's a crocodile or an alligator you've spotted, make sure you don't get close. No matter what animal is in the water, it may mistake you for prey. Crocodiles are usually more aggressive than alligators, but they both can be very dangerous.
Dolphin or porpoise by Rob Reindack. Making a splash. A grayish animal leaps out of the ocean, splashing about in the water with its friends. It's too small to be a whale. Is it a dolphin or something else? Maybe it's a porpoise. If you've ever had trouble telling the two animals apart, read on to see how they're different. Dolphins, porpoises, and whales are all marine mammals in the animal group Cetacea. The name cetacea is from a Greek word that means large sea creature. Dolphins and porpoises are much alike in size and shape, and many of them act the same way in the ocean. Family business. There are more than 30 different species or kinds of dolphin, which belong to part of an animal family called Delphinidae. Porpoises have 6 different species and are part of an animal family called Phocinidae. Though they look similar, scientists say comparing them is like comparing cats and dogs. All about teeth. If you can catch a look inside their mouth, the best way to tell the difference between a porpoise and a dolphin is their teeth. Dolphins have cone-shaped teeth. Porpoises have flatter teeth that are spade-shaped. How do you tell these mammals apart when they aren't showing their teeth? Their head shape is another clue. Dolphins have longer and larger beaks than porpoises. Dolphins also have thinner bodies, while porpoises look rounder. Dorsal fins. Fins are important because they help dolphins and porpoises swim. The dorsal fin, which sits on their back, is slightly different for the two groups. Most porpoises have a triangle-shaped dorsal fin. The fin on dolphins is more hook-like or curved shape. Chatterboxes. Dolphins love to talk to one another. They make clicks and noises with their blowhole we can hear with our ears. Scientists say that dolphins are more talkative than porpoises. However, porpoises make noises so high-pitched that humans can't hear them. Melon heads. Dolphins and porpoises have something in their forehead called the melon. This helps them make sonar sound waves. Sonar waves leap off objects in the water and help dolphins and porpoises find their way around the ocean. Watch out! Dolphins and porpoises are very smart animals with large brains. They'll investigate anything they're not used to in their habitat, so be careful when you're swimming in the ocean. You don't want to hurt these amazing animals.
Frog or toad by Rob Reindack. What is that? There's something hopping around on the ground. Is that a frog or a toad? Well, we're going to need to know more to figure that out. Let's find out the differences between a frog and a toad. Toads and frogs are very similar animals in many ways. They're amphibians that belong to the Anura group of animals. Most frogs and toads start their life in water as a tadpole. From there, they grow legs and lose the tail that helps them swim. Splitting the difference. There are more than 6,000 different species of frogs and toads. True frogs and true toads come from different animal families. How can you tell them apart? Scientists argue about this quite a bit. Most true frogs need to live near water to keep their skin wet. Their skin has a thin coat of mucus to help it stay wet. Most toads don't need water nearby to live because they have bumpy, dry skin. Many toads also have warts. Body type. Toads usually have a wider body than frogs. Their legs are also shorter than most frogs, which means they hop differently. In general, the longer a frog or toad's back legs, the farther they can hop. Most toads take smaller hops because of their body shape. Poison pair. Frogs are food for many animals. To stay safe, some give off a poison from their skin. Poison dart frogs are bright colors that tell predators to stay away. Many toads, like the cane toad, also have poison glands behind their eyes. Interesting eggs. Another way to tell frogs and toads apart is how they lay their eggs. Most true toads lay eggs next to one another, making long chains. Frogs lay their eggs together in clusters or groups that look like grapes. What's in a name? Toads can sometimes have smooth skin, and some frogs can live away from water. There's even a frog that lives in the desert. The Australian water-holding frog hides underground to keep its skin from drying out. A toad can sometimes be called a frog, and a frog can sometimes be called a toad. Even more confusing, frogs can have warts and toads can have slimy skin. Though you can't even trust their names, both animals are fun to learn about.
Leopard or jaguar? By Rob Reindack. Name that cat. A big cat is moving through the brush, tracking an animal it hopes is dinner. The cat looks fast and hungry. Is it a leopard? Jaguar? What about a puma? How can you tell these cats apart? Big cats like jaguars, ocelots, and leopards are all related or come from the same family. Called Felidae, there are 36 different species. They have sharp teeth, good hearing, and a good sense of smell. Watch the patterns. Jaguars and leopards look the most alike out of these cats. The best way to tell these animals apart is looking at the patterns in their fur. Leopards and jaguars each have spots called rosettes. Leopards' spots are grouped very tightly together. Spot the rosettes. The rosettes on a jaguar are bigger than a leopard's and sometimes form black circles on their coat. Some of these rosettes have darker brown spots in the middle of them. These black and brown spots act as camouflage, helping the big cats hide in their surroundings. Leopards' spots can be different depending on where they live. In East Africa, they have spots shaped like a circle. Further south, the rosettes are more square-shaped. Leopards have more solid spots on their face, limbs, and stomach. Fast cat. You never want to get chased by a big cat, but you can tell them apart when they run. Jaguars are the faster of the two cats. They can run 50 miles, 80 kilometers per hour, while leopards can run 30 miles, 48 kilometers per hour. Snowy spots. Some leopards look totally different from other leopards and jaguars. Snow leopards live in the mountains of Central Asia. They have whitish gray fur and black rosettes. Their fur helps them blend in with the snowy, rocky places they call home. Black panthers. Black panthers aren't their own species of big cat. Rather, the term black panther is used for any big cat with a gene that gives them an all-black coat. This means that black jaguars and black leopards can also be called black panthers. Pet cats? Whether a leopard or jaguar, all big cats are dangerous. Make sure you stay away if you ever see one. You can even learn about big cats from your pet house cat. Most house cats are related to these big cats. Turtle or Tortoise by Rob Reindack. What's in the shell? There's a short animal with a big shell in your yard. Is it a turtle or a tortoise? Figuring out what your new shelled friend is can be hard unless you pay attention to a few special things about each animal. Family findings. Turtles, tortoises, and terrapins are all reptiles in the Colonia animal group. They all have hard shells called carapaces. Sea turtles are part of the Chelonoidae family, and freshwater turtles are from the Amididae family. Tortoises are part of the Testudinidae family. Same and different. Many tortoises and turtles look very much alike. They both lay their eggs on land. You have to take a good look at their shell, legs, and where they live to tell the difference between the two reptiles. On land. The biggest difference between turtles and tortoises is where they spend their time. Tortoises spend all their time on land. Some tortoises live in dry climates. Tortoise shells are rounder and help keep them safe. Water turtles. Turtles spend most of their life in water. Some live in the sea, while others live in rivers or lakes. Turtle shells are usually flatter, which helps them swim. Turtles can come on land for food, but many eat sea plants and animals. Feet or fins. Many sea turtles have feet that look like flippers. Some turtles that live in rivers or lakes have webbed feet. They use these flippers or webbed feet to swim quickly. Tortoise feet are short and round. They're only used for walking. Nesting. Turtles and tortoises both lay eggs. Baby turtles and tortoises hatch using an egg tooth, which is a sharp point on their bill they use to break their eggshell. Sea turtles lay their eggs in sand. Their babies have to make their way down the beach and into the sea. Old animals. Turtles and tortoises can live a very long time. Galapagos tortoises are some of the oldest living animals on Earth. Scientists have studied Galapagos tortoises that were more than 150 years old. Sea turtles can live up to 80 years. Terrapins. A terrapin is another member of the Testudinidae family that has a shell. What makes it different from turtles and tortoises is that terrapins only live on land and in brackish water. They live in marshes and along riverbanks near the ocean. Lizard blood by Roberto Betances. What are lizards? Lizards are reptiles. They have dry, scaly skin. Most have a small head and a short neck. They often have a long body. There are more than 4,600 kinds or species of lizards around the world. Some people think lizards are creepy, but everything they do is to survive. Lizards are tasty meals for many kinds of animals. So lizards need to have special adaptations to help them stay alive. One lizard, many names. There is one kind of lizard that has a wide, flat body shape, like a toad's body. Its head has spikes on it like horns. Sometimes it's called the horned toad or the short-horned toad. It's also called the horned lizard. A nosy tongue? Like snakes, lizards smell with their tongue. The horned lizard catches scents in the air with its tongue. Then a body part in the lizard's mouth tells the lizard what the smell is. It knows if a predator or prey is close by. That's gross. Hawks, snakes, and other lizards are some of the horned lizard's predators. When a predator gets too close, some species of horned lizards squirt a bloody liquid out of the corners of their eyes. The blood squirts up to 3 feet, 0.9 meters away. The horned lizard's predators are usually shocked and surprised by the blood. That gives the lizard a chance to get away. The blood is also harmful to some animals, such as dogs, wolves, and coyotes. More defenses. The horned lizard doesn't often shoot blood out of its eyes, though. Its most common defense is to puff itself up. It can grow to be 2 times its normal size. That can scare some smaller predators away. Horned lizard skin looks a bit like rocks. This helps the lizard blend in with its rocky desert home. Its spikes also make it look hard to eat to animals, like snakes, who would try to swallow it whole. Visit the lizard. There are about 14 species of horned lizards in Canada, the United States, and Mexico. They mostly live in deserts and dry, warm areas of these countries. If you don't live near horned lizards, you might be able to see one at the zoo.
Octopus Ink by Kate Shoemaker. Now you see it. Does any animal have a weirder body than the octopus? You might think its 8 arms and bag-like body would make it easy to spot. However, the octopus has tricks that make it hard to see in its ocean habitat. An octopus's body is flexible. It can squeeze into tight areas. It can also change shape to look like other things. It can change colors too. Can you see the octopus in the picture? An octopus's body helps it hide from ocean predators. Seals, sharks, eels, and dolphins like to eat octopuses. An octopus's body also helps it surprise its prey. Octopuses mostly eat crustaceans, mollusks, and fish. Don't get inked. An octopus has another way of tricking its predators. It can squirt black ink into the water. The ink spreads like a cloud. The predator has a hard time seeing where the octopus is behind the ink cloud. The dark ink cloud makes it easier for the octopus to escape its predator. The ink also affects a predator's sense of smell, so the predator may not be able to smell where the octopus went. An octopus might squirt ink a different way too. A smaller blob of ink mixed with mucus makes a shape that looks a bit like an octopus. The octopus sometimes changes color and leaves the predator to attack the inky octopus shape. Octopus spit. If octopus ink isn't gross enough, octopuses also have poisonous spit. When they bite their prey, the spit can stop prey from moving and even break down a body's insides into a liquid. Then an octopus can drink its prey. Yuck! Many kinds. There are about 250 known kinds of octopuses. The largest is the giant Pacific octopus. It can be up to 30 feet, 9.1 meters long. That means it can make a huge inky mess in the ocean when it's scared. The blue-ringed octopus is the most deadly octopus. Its poisonous bite can kill a person. Do you think the octopus is one of the grossest or one of the coolest animals in the ocean? It's one of the trickiest for sure.
Skunk Stench by Kate Shoemaker. Hold your nose. What's the worst thing you've ever smelled? Stinky socks? Rotten eggs? A skunk can make a stench worse than both of these. It might be the worst smell in nature. Read on to find out how and why skunks make this smell. A defense. Skunks aren't smelly animals themselves. However, they have special body parts called glands under the base of their tail. These glands make a stinky liquid that gives off the famous skunk stench. A skunk sprays this liquid as a defense. Ready, aim, fire. A skunk doesn't just spray anywhere. It can actually aim at an enemy. If the enemy is close, the skunk aims at its face and squirts its stinky liquid. A skunk can also make a cloud of stink as it's running away. Predators. Foxes, bobcats, dogs, and coyotes hunt skunks. However, these predators have a very good sense of smell. That means a skunk's powerful spray smells even worse to them. If they're sprayed once, they may not ever attack another skunk. Owls and hawks attack skunks from the air. This means that they can catch a skunk by surprise. Some kinds of owls and hawks don't have a good sense of smell. A skunk's spray doesn't bother them. Warning signs. Skunks often try to scare off their predators before they spray. They may face the animal, hiss, and show their teeth. They may stamp their feet, too. If all this doesn't scare off predators, it's time to spray. Skunk species. There are 11 species or kinds of skunks. Each makes a different smell, but all are very powerful. The different species have different markings. The most famous is the striped skunk. It's black, with a white V shape on its back. The stink badger is a skunk that pretends to be dead when a predator is near. When the predator gets close, it fires its spray. Spotted skunks do a handstand when they're about to spray. Spotted skunks are also the only skunks that can climb. Watch out! Skunks may spray people, too. Skunks sometimes walk into yards looking for food. If you see the black and white markings of a skunk, don't get too close. Slowly move away and hope it doesn't spray. Bobcats in the Dark by Raz K. How it got its name. Did you ever wonder how the bobcat got its name? A bob is another name for a short haircut. This North American wildcat has a tail that looks like it was bobbed or cut short. All bobcats have this bobbed, black-tipped tail. Big Kitty. Bobcats look a lot like house cats. They're about 2 times bigger. They have big pointed ears with hair coming out of them. Their fur is mostly brown with dark spots or lines. They have a whitish belly. Where are they? There are more bobcats in North America than any other wildcat. However, they're hard to find. They like to stay away from people. They're usually nocturnal. They may come out on warm winter days. Bobcats make their homes in Canada, the United States, and Mexico. They live in forests, mountains, and any place they can find a meal. They like areas with a lot of plants. Bobcats sometimes wait in trees and behind bushes for their prey. The hunt. Bobcats are excellent hunters. To catch their prey, they creep up close and leap. They can jump as far as 10 feet, 3 meters. Bobcats mostly eat small animals, such as rabbits. However, they sometimes hunt animals larger than themselves. At home, all alone. Bobcats like to be alone. They don't want to share meals. A bobcat marks its land with its scent. This tells other bobcats to stay away. A bobcat's area may be quite large. It may have more than one den there. Bobcat kittens. When a mother bobcat is ready to have babies, she makes a hidden den. It might be under a log or in a tree. Mothers may have 1 kitten or as many as 6. Kittens first open their eyes after about 10 days. Bobcat kittens are furry and cute, but they grow up to be hunters. They stay with their mother for up to a year. At first, they drink milk from their mother. Then their mother brings them meat. Finally, she teaches them to hunt. Protecting bobcats. Did you know that people hunt bobcats? Farmers kill them to protect their animals. Other people hunt bobcats for their fur. In some places, bobcats are protected from hunters. Today there may be as many as 1 million wild bobcats. Stegosaurus by Brian Thomas. The roofed lizard. The Stegosaurus was known for the bony plates on its back. Its name means roofed lizard. At first, scientists wrongly thought its plates lay flat on its back, like tiles on a roof. The Stegosaurus lived millions of years ago. The Stegosaurus's plates were shaped like leaves. They were used to keep it safe from predators. They could also be used to keep the dinosaur warm when the weather was too cold. Special blood vessels in the plates took in heat from the sun. A terrifying tail. To go along with the plates on its back, the Stegosaurus also had spikes on its tail. It could swing its tail back and forth very quickly. This made its tail useful for fighting off predators, which included large, meat-eating dinosaurs. Time to eat! Stegosauruses were tough fighters. However, they weren't predators. They were herbivores, which means they ate only plants. They ate a lot of mosses and ferns. Do you like to eat fruits? If you do, you're like a Stegosaurus. As big as a bus. Stegosauruses had to eat a lot of plants because they were very big dinosaurs. A Stegosaurus could grow to be 12 feet, 3.7 meters tall. It was also 30 feet, 9 meters long, which is about as long as a bus. Moving slowly. A Stegosaurus weighed about 6,600 pounds, 3,000 kilograms. It moved slowly on its 4 thick legs. It could only run about as fast as a person can. The Stegosaurus also had a small brain for being such a large dinosaur. Eggs and babies. Scientists think stegosauruses laid their eggs in nests they made on the ground. Then baby stegosauruses came out of the eggs. However, scientists don't know for sure if stegosauruses built nests because they've never found stegosaurus eggs. A North American dinosaur. Studying stegosaurus fossils helps scientists learn about where these dinosaurs lived. Many stegosaurus fossils have been found in North America. Scientists believe these dinosaurs lived in areas that are now part of the United States, including Oklahoma, Colorado, and Utah. Fossil finds. You can see stegosaurus fossils in science museums around the world. The first stegosaurus fossil found outside of North America was discovered in Portugal in 2007. This led scientists to believe that stegosauruses may have walked across a land bridge from North America to Europe.
Tyrannosaurus rex by Daisy Allen. Studying fossils. The Tyrannosaurus rex was a large dinosaur that walked on two legs. It lived millions of years ago, so scientists learn about it by studying fossils. Tyrannosaurus rex fossils have been found in Eastern Asia and North America. Short arms. Scientists use fossils to learn a lot about the bodies of Tyrannosaurus rexes. Bones from these dinosaurs show that its legs were much longer than its arms. Its powerful legs helped it move quickly for such a large dinosaur. The Tyrannosaurus rex only had 2 fingers at the end of each arm. Each finger had a pointy claw. However, the claws weren't used to kill other dinosaurs. The Tyrannosaurus rex's arms were so short that they were basically useless. As big as a truck. The Tyrannosaurus rex could grow to be 43 feet, 13 meters long. That's as long as a big truck. It was a little shorter than an elephant, at around 13 feet, 4 meters tall, and it could weigh as much as 15,680 pounds, 7,120 kilograms. A strong jaw. The skull of a Tyrannosaurus rex was 5 feet, 1.5 meters long. It had strong jaws that could crush its prey. It also had very long teeth. One Tyrannosaurus rex tooth could be as long as 12 inches, 30 centimeters. A scary predator. The Tyrannosaurus rex was a predator. Its name means king of the tyrant lizards. A tyrant was a ruler people feared. Other dinosaurs feared the meat-eating Tyrannosaurus rex. It used its strong jaws and teeth to eat smaller dinosaurs. What's a scavenger? Hunting wasn't the only way Tyrannosaurus rexes found food. Scientists also believe Tyrannosaurus rex was a scavenger. This means it ate the bodies of dinosaurs that were already dead. Triceratops was one kind of dinosaur eaten by Tyrannosaurus rex, one of the last dinosaurs. Scientists believe Tyrannosaurus rex laid its eggs in nests like other dinosaurs did. Tyrannosaurus rexes lived at the end of the time period when dinosaurs existed. They were some of the last dinosaurs to walk Earth before dinosaurs became extinct. A skeleton named Sue. Scientists have discovered hundreds of Tyrannosaurus rex fossils. One of the largest and most complete Tyrannosaurus rex skeletons is named Sue and can be found in Chicago. Sue is kept in that city's Field Museum of Natural History. Glowworms are not worms by Daisy Allen. Worms or bugs? Glowworms aren't worms, they're bugs. Many kinds of glowworms live all over the world. Most glowworms are kinds of beetles. Some glowworms are gnats, which are very tiny flies. Have you ever seen a firefly? Then you've seen one kind of glowworm. Glowing babies. Many baby insects look like worms. At this stage of life, they're called larvae. A single baby insect is called a larva. The larvae of some insects can glow. This is where the name glowworm comes from. Glowing girls. Not all glowworms are baby bugs. Some are adult female bugs. They still look like larvae though. And they still glow. They're called larviform adults. Some kinds of female fireflies are larviform adults. How do they glow? Glowworms have special body parts that allow them to light up. This part is different in different types of glowworms, but most glowing parts work in a similar way. The glow is caused by chemicals mixing inside the bug's body. Why do they glow? Some glowworms glow to catch food. Small critters see the light and come close to check it out. That's when the glowworm catches its prey. Some female glowworms light up to attract males. Others light up to warn predators that they're not good to eat. Beetles. Most glowworms are beetles. Click beetles make a clicking sound, and some can glow too. They're often just called glowworm beetles. The railroad worm is another common glowing beetle. Both larvae and adult female railroad worms glow. You might be surprised to hear that fireflies aren't flies at all. They're glowing beetles. Both the larvae and females glow. Females, which are often wingless, blink their lights to attract males. However, males are often tricked by streetlights. Gnats. About a dozen kinds of gnats glow. Many live on the walls and ceilings of caves in New Zealand and Australia. The glowing larvae hang from the ceiling by sticky threads. Other bugs become trapped on the threads, and the larvae eat them for dinner. Turning off? Some scientists think glowworms are in danger of dying out. Growing towns and cities have changed many glowworm habitats. Streetlights can confuse males searching for female glowworms, leading to fewer babies. Can you think of any ways to help keep glowworms safe?
Hedgehogs Are Not Hogs by Lincoln James. What is that? Hedgehogs love searching hedges and bushes for tasty bugs, worms, and small animals. While doing this, they make a grunting noise, somewhat like a pig. That's how they got their name. If hedgehogs aren't hogs, what are they? Hedgehogs are mammals. Like pigs and hogs, hedgehogs are mammals. Other mammals include dogs, horses, whales, and people. Hedgehogs are very different from most other mammals. The hedgehog's closest relatives are shrews and moles. Around the world, there are about 15 kinds of hedgehogs. They're originally from Europe, Asia, and Africa. However, people have taken them all over the world. In places with cold, snowy winters, some hedgehogs sleep all season long. Looking good. Hedgehogs are small animals. Depending on the kind, they can weigh between 7 ounces and 2.2 pounds, 200 and 1,000 grams. They have small black eyes and pointy snouts. Their fur and quills can be brown, gray, white, or black. Hedgehog quills. Of course, a hedgehog's most noticeable feature is its quills. A hedgehog has about 6,000 quills. Quills help keep it safe. When there's trouble, the hedgehog rolls up into a small, spiky ball. Few predators can eat such a pointy animal. Predators. Some animals eat hedgehogs, but not many. Some of their most feared predators are large birds such as owls. An owl's long claws and sharp beak are perfect for getting past hedgehog quills. Other predators include dogs, wolves, foxes, and weasels. What's for dinner? Hedgehogs love to eat tiny critters they find under bushes, such as bugs, worms, and snails. They will eat larger animals too, such as snakes and frogs. Hedgehogs also eat roots, mushrooms, bird eggs, and fruits. They even eat bees and wasps. Growing up, mother hedgehogs have around 3 to 7 babies at a time. Babies can't hear or see at first. They grow soft quills that fall out within a few days. Stronger quills grow in, but they fall out too. Then even stronger quills grow in. Pet hedgehogs. Hedgehogs are often kept as pets, but they aren't like most pets. They're often shy around people, but they can be quite friendly once they get used to you. The hardest part about owning a hedgehog is picking it up without getting hurt.
Guinea pigs are not pigs by Evelyn Ryan. What is it? Guinea pigs are cute little animals that many people keep as pets. In some places, people eat them. This furry critter isn't actually a pig. If guinea pigs aren't pigs, then what are they? Read on to find out. Guinea pigs are rodents. A rodent is a small furry animal with long front teeth. These teeth never stop growing. Guinea pigs and other rodents keep their teeth sharp by gnawing on wood and other plants. Rodents make up about half of all the mammals in the world. Where are they? Originally, guinea pigs were wild animals from South America. There are no wild guinea pigs anymore, but they're closely related to several kinds of wild rodents. Today, guinea pig pets can be found in people's homes all over the world. On the farm, people first started living with guinea pigs around 5,000 years ago. At that time, people in South America began using the rodents for food. They put guinea pigs in pens so they wouldn't run away, just like we do today with chickens. Eating veggies. Guinea pigs spend a lot of their time gnawing and eating. They eat most kinds of vegetables, but they love leafy green vegetables. They get most of the water they need from the plants they eat. Noisy pigs. Guinea pigs may have gotten their name from the noises they make. They squeal like pigs do, sometimes very loudly. They often do this when they think they're about to be fed. Depending on how they feel, guinea pigs also click their teeth, growl, and purr. Guinea pig families. Female guinea pigs can have babies several times a year. They usually have about 4 babies at a time, but they can have up to 14. Guinea pigs grow quickly. They usually live 3 to 5 years, but some live up to 8 years. I'm no guinea pig. Have you ever heard someone say they were treated like a guinea pig? That means they were used to test something new. Guinea pigs have long been used to study and test new products. This has helped keep people safe, but many people think it's cruel. Piggy pets. Guinea pigs are popular pets. They're easy to care for. They're also very friendly. Once they're used to you, you can pick them up and pet them. Guinea pigs don't usually bite people. It might happen if they mistake your finger for a carrot. Taipan by Shania Worthy. Types of taipans. 3 kinds of taipans live in Australia and New Guinea. Inland taipans live in the deserts of Central Australia. Coastal taipans live along the northern coast of Australia and the southern coast of New Guinea. The Central Ranges taipan was just discovered in 2006. Taipan bodies. The coastal taipan is the longest. Most grow to about 6 to 8 feet, 1.8 to 2.4 meters. They can be black, gray, or brown. Inland taipans are smaller. Most grow to about 5 feet, 1.5 meters long. They are mostly brown or black. The inland taipan. The inland taipan lives in the desert, where there are very few plants. It hides in cracks and under rocks. The taipan's scales are often darker in winter than in summer. This allows the taipan to take in more heat from the sun in cold weather. Laying eggs. Female inland taipans lay 12 to 20 eggs at one time. They lay them in an animal den or a crack in the ground. Then they leave the eggs. The baby taipans break out of the eggs about 2 months later. Deadly. All taipans are deadly snakes. They use venom to kill. The venom of the inland taipan is the strongest of any land snake on Earth. Just one bite has enough venom to kill 100 people. The venom can cause the taipan's prey to bleed to death. Like most snakes, taipans have sharp teeth called fangs. They use their fangs to inject their venom into other animals. They do this to catch prey. They also do it to chase away enemies. Taipans sometimes bite people, but only when they're scared or trapped. Hungry? Taipans eat birds, lizards, and rodents. Inland taipans mainly like to eat rats. Taipans hunt in the morning when it's cooler. During really hot weather, taipans hunt at night. A taipan attacks so quickly, the prey often doesn't even see it. A taipan bite injects venom into its prey. Once a taipan bites its prey, it lets go and waits for the prey to die. The venom is strong and works fast. Once the prey is dead, the taipan eats it whole. Taipans and people. Taipans don't commonly attack people. However, they may attack if a person scares them or tries to catch them. Someone who is bitten by a taipan must take a drug called antivenin. This drug stops the venom from working. Without antivenin, the person will die.
Life in the Desert by Carrie O'Donnell. Deserts. A desert is a biome with little rainfall and few plants. The lack of rainfall makes the soil dry. Few plants grow in a desert because of the dry soil. Some deserts are hot and some are cold. Hot deserts have high temperatures during the day. At night they become very cold. Hot deserts get less than 10 inches of rain a year. Cold deserts get less than 10 inches of snow a year. Deserts of the world. The Atacama in South America is a cold desert. Its temperatures range from 32 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. The Atacama is one of the driest places on Earth. The Sahara in Africa is the hottest place on Earth. It is also the largest desert on Earth. The Sonoran and Mojave deserts are large desert biomes located in the United States. Plants. Plants of the hot desert have adaptations to the lack of water and the extreme heat. Plants such as cacti have thick, fleshy leaves to store water. Some plants have small leaves or waxy coatings to lessen the loss of water. There are also plants that grow long roots. These roots allow the plants to get water from deep within the ground. Animals. Many animals have adaptations for living in the desert. Camels live in parts of Asia and Africa. They store water and can live without water for 3 weeks. Animals such as the scorpion and the coyote are active at night when temperatures are cooler. Animals like kangaroo rats, which live in North American deserts, get water from their food. People. People live in desert areas where there is water and food can be grown. In places like the Coachella Valley, California, people developed ways to live in the desert. They use air conditioners to keep cool. Farmers use irrigation to bring water to the land for farming. Some people of the Kalahari Desert and the Sahara in Africa do not live in one place. They move with their animals from place to find water and food. Oasis. An oasis is an area in a desert where there is fresh water and plants can grow. Most of the people of the Sahara live in oases. Date palms are trees that grow in Saharan oases. The city of Palm Springs is an oasis in Southern California that many people visit.
The Water Cycle at Work by George Pendergast. Water questions. Have you ever wondered how clouds are made? Or where all that water goes when it rains? When you get a glass of water, where did it come from? To get the answers to these questions, you need to understand the water cycle. The water cycle is the movement of water on Earth and in the atmosphere. Water is traveling all the time. It can go deep underground and high up into the air. Many different forces help move water from place to place. Collecting water. Water collects in different places on Earth. More than 96% of water is salt water found in the oceans. Only 2.5% of Earth's water is fresh water found in rivers, lakes, and underground. When water on Earth heats up, it becomes steam or water vapor. This change is called evaporation. Warmth from the sun often causes evaporation. The warm water vapor in the air moves high into the sky, way up high. Water vapor gets colder the higher it goes into the air. It starts to become liquid again. This is called condensation. The water collects and forms clouds. Wind moves clouds around as more water collects to make them bigger. When too much water condenses and clouds get too heavy, the water falls back to Earth. This is called precipitation. Precipitation comes in many forms. It can be rain, snow, hail, or any mix of these. Down it goes. When precipitation falls, it often lands back on Earth's surface. Precipitation can collect in the oceans to become salt water or in lakes as fresh water. Gravity can also pull water down into the ground where it becomes groundwater. Plants absorb some groundwater, but most goes through rock and soil and reaches the water table. The water table is the point in the ground where water completely fills in the parts between rock and soil. This is called the zone of saturation. Coming back up. Gravity moves water down, but many things bring it back up. Water can be brought up to the surface by tree roots. People can dig wells to reach it too. This helps keep the water cycle moving.
Jumbo Jets by Kenny Allen. Giant jets. Jumbo jets are the monster machines of the skies. They're big enough to carry hundreds of passengers. They can fly hundreds of miles in one flight. How can a machine that big stay in the air? Let's find out. Jumbo engines. All jet planes have powerful jet engines. These engines burn a special fuel and create a force called thrust. Thrust is what moves jets forward. Jumbo jet engines create enough thrust to keep these monster machines flying high. Jumbo jets can have 2, 3, or 4 engines. The Boeing 777's 2 engines are the largest and most powerful in the world. Each engine is more than 11 feet, 3.4 meters wide, and each one weighs more than 18,000 pounds, 8,165 kilograms. Wild wings. Planes stay in the air because of a force called lift. During a flight, the air going over a wing moves faster than the air moving under it, which creates lift. This force allows jumbo jets to stay in the air. Wide body. Jumbo jets are often called wide-body planes. Regular passenger planes have 1 aisle between seats. Wide-body jets have 2 aisles separating 3 groups of seats. The widest jumbo jets can seat up to 11 people in 1 row. Making jumbo jets wider isn't the only way to fit more people on them. Some are 2 stories tall and can carry more than 800 passengers. Most jumbo jets have a first-class section. Some even have showers and beds in the cockpit. The room where pilots fly a plane is called a cockpit. A cockpit has lots of controls. The cockpit is in the nose, or very front of the plane. In some jumbo jets, the cockpit is above where passengers sit. Carry the cargo. Jumbo jets have room for cargo. Unlike other passenger planes, some jumbo jets store cargo in the nose of the plane. The Airbus Beluga is named after a whale. It was made extra large to carry very large cargo. Super jumbo. The Airbus A380 is one of the biggest jumbo jets in the world. It's sometimes called a super jumbo jet. The A380 is so big it doesn't fit at all airports. Some airports were rebuilt just so the A380 could fit. What Happens When I Yawn? By Aaliyah Schwinn. Close your mouth. You might yawn when you stay up late or just after getting out of bed. Many people yawn when they're bored, or you might yawn because someone else just did. Scientists aren't exactly sure why we yawn. However, they have a few interesting ideas. How it works. A small part on the bottom of the brain controls many of the body's activities, including yawning. This part of the brain sends messages out to the body and makes it yawn. When we yawn, our brain tells muscles all over the body to work. The mouth opens wide to let in a lot of air. Muscles around the lungs help us take a deep breath. After a short pause, these muscles push the air back out of the lungs. I didn't mean to do it. Yawning is involuntary. That means our bodies do it without us choosing to do so. We know it's involuntary because babies do it before they're born. You may even find yourself yawning just because you saw a picture of someone yawning. Why do we do it? When we breathe in, we take in oxygen, which our body needs to keep working. When we breathe out, our body gets rid of a waste gas called carbon dioxide. We might yawn to get more oxygen into our bodies or to get rid of extra carbon dioxide. Many scientists think we yawn to cool off our brain. Yawning increases blood flow in the head. The air we breathe in during a yawn cools the blood that passes close to the mouth. This cooler blood may then help cool the brain. Many animals yawn, but only people, chimps, and dogs yawn when they see others do it. Some scientists now think this shows you care about others around you. Yawning might be a way of sharing our feelings. Some scientists think yawning might be something people long ago did to communicate, and the habit just stuck with us. Perhaps people once yawned to show their teeth and scare enemies away, somewhat like many wild animals do. Yawning too much? In rare cases, someone who yawns all the time might have a problem worse than being tired or bored. For example, it could be a sign of heart problems. If you can't stop yawning, it's a good idea to go see a doctor.
Crystals and Gems by William McConnell. What are crystals? Have you ever seen a rock with flat faces and sharp edges? Have you ever looked at a snowflake up close? These are examples of crystals. Crystals are all around us. The ground we walk on holds many kinds of crystals. We use crystals to make some homes and buildings. Many people wear crystals in jewelry. We even eat some kinds of crystals, such as salt and sugar. How do crystals form? Solids and liquids are both types of matter. All matter is made up of very tiny pieces called atoms. When a liquid cools, its atoms come closer together. If it cools enough, it becomes a solid. Most crystals form when a liquid cools very slowly. The slow cooling gives the atoms in the liquid enough time to line up in neat rows. This allows many crystals to form flat faces and sharp edges. Crystals that cool quickly often look like common rocks. Minerals and crystals. A mineral is solid matter made inside Earth. There are about 3,000 kinds of minerals. About 100 of them are easy to find. The rest are uncommon. All minerals are made up of crystals. Salt, gold, and diamonds are examples of minerals you may have heard of. Rocks are made up of one or more minerals. Minerals are also found in Earth's oceans and on the moon. Gemstones and gems. When some liquid minerals in Earth cool very slowly, they form the colorful crystals we call gemstones. When cut and polished, gemstones are used to make beautiful gems. Gems that are made up of a single mineral usually have a single. Gems made up of two or more minerals often have colorful stripes. Many gems are clear. There are hundreds of gems. Many are used to make jewelry. Crystals and gems. The flat faces and sharp edges of crystals happen in nature. The flat faces and sharp edges of gems don't come from nature. Gems have uneven surfaces in nature most of the time. Their flat faces and sharp edges result from cutting and polishing. However, crystals and gems do have many things in common. Most are minerals. Both come in many different colors, and both are used in jewelry. Your Brain by Cyril Bassington. In control. When you play video games, you might use a controller. Your brain is the controller of your body. It controls your body's activities. It's where your thoughts and feelings come from. The brain is at work even when you're asleep. What is it? Your brain is made up of many, many nerve cells. It's shaped a bit like a mushroom or umbrella. Different parts of the brain have different jobs. The parts work together with other nerves in your body. Together, they're called the nervous system. How it works. The brain receives messages from nerve cells in your body. It uses those messages to send orders to other body parts, such as organs and muscles. Messages can travel around the body as fast as 200 miles, 322 kilometers per hour. Many parts. Different parts of the brain have different names. The largest part at the top is called the cerebrum. That's where you think, sense, and remember. The cerebrum also sends orders to your muscles when you want them to move. The cerebellum is a lot smaller. It's at the back of the brain. It controls how your muscles work together. It makes sure you can stand up and not fall over. It also helps you speak. The brain stem is under the cerebrum. It tells the body to do activities you need to stay alive, without you even thinking about it. When you breathe and when your heart beats, it's your brain stem at work. The pituitary gland is the size of a pea. It keeps your body growing and makes sure it has enough energy. The hypothalamus controls your body's temperature. It might make you sweat or shiver. Keep learning. Your brain changes every time you learn something. When you're learning an activity, practicing helps your brain cells get used to the activity so you get better at it. Think about that when you're learning a language or music. A healthy brain. Eating fish, fruits, and vegetables is a good way to keep your brain healthy. So is exercise. Scientists think it's easier for people to learn after exercising. There's a lot we don't know about the brain, but we do know it's amazing.
Your Heart by Cyril Bassington. Pump it. Your heart is found in your upper chest, a bit to the left. It pumps blood around your body, from the tips of your fingers and toes to the top of your head. Blood carries oxygen and nutrients and takes away waste. Your heart is made of strong muscles. It squeezes and relaxes to move blood. That's called a heartbeat. Your heart may beat 70 to 110 times per minute. A lot of blood passes through your heart in this time. What it looks like. Your heart isn't a heart shape. It's more like an upside-down pear. It's a bit larger than your fist. Your heart grows as you do. An adult's heart weighs about 12 ounces, 340 grams. That's about as heavy as 2 small apples. The heart has 4 parts. The top chambers, or spaces, are called the left atrium and right atrium. The lower chambers are the left ventricle and right ventricle. Blood takes a special path through these chambers. How it works. Blood from the body flows into the right atrium. It carries a waste gas called carbon dioxide. It then goes into the right ventricle, which pumps it into the lungs. There, blood lets go of carbon dioxide and receives oxygen. Next, the left atrium fills with oxygen-rich blood from the lungs. The blood then goes into the left ventricle, which pumps it out into the body. All these movements happen at the same time and in the same direction. The blood circulates or travels throughout the body in blood vessels. Blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart are called arteries. Blood vessels that carry blood back to the heart are called veins. Heart healthy. Put your fingers on the inside of your wrist. Do you feel that beat? It's called a pulse, and it's your heart in action. It takes about 60 seconds to pump blood to every cell in your body. Every cell in your body needs oxygen to stay alive. It also needs blood to get rid of waste. Keep your heart healthy by exercising and eating right. Take care of your heart. It takes care of you.
Your lungs.